Hello everyone, and we are live. I hope you're all doing well. I'm back again with my Simpsons face tonight. We've got PJ Cruikshank in Element. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Looking forward to tonight's show again. And I was just laughing at that picture that Michael put in chat. It does look like a transformation from between a human to a Simpson, doesn't it? It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
the Earth is still flat. It's still observably and demonstrably flat, and Jesus still loves us as usual.
definitely, definitely. But yeah, it's good to see. How was your day?
Yeah, not too bad. I was travelling back from the missus's today, so
Okay.
I got in a couple of hours ago. So since I got in, I've just chilled, waited for the show, had a little snooze.
Okay, that's cool.
So yeah, no, I did this morning travelling, so it was quicker though today because I was on train. I usually do the bus, don't I? So it was a bit quicker today.
Oh, okay. I thought the train's gonna be. Oh, the train should be quicker. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot quicker, a lot quicker.
Yeah. So we already got 61 votes. I just said Earth.
Yeah,
So flat
me too.
13%, curve 85%, concave 0, and donut. We've got 2% donut Earth, guys.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. I wonder if the Republicans doing it after us or are they just taking the mick, you know?
Yeah, taking the mic, obviously. Even concavers, you can't think they can take it seriously.
Uh,
Okay, Michael Khan is there. He says he's just going to listen in tonight because he's going to get his tea and everything. Good to see you, Moxie, as well. And Arwen, thank you for coming. Thank you, can make it. He says, Arwen says, false dichotomy. Roast chicken and dick are missing. I don't get it.
no.
But anyway, I found an interesting video today.
Cool.
I haven't watched it, but I thought it would be interesting to go through maybe. NASA just announced the moon shifted and is going to cause, like cataclysmic stuff because of moon change. So it was making me think, why does the moon shift if they're supposed to have fixed orbits? So doesn't it go against the heliocentric model? So moon's not supposed to shift then. I mean, just like they have the core or something spinning in the opposite direction every 70 years. Sorry guys, I'm trying to speak properly. It's a bit difficult.
Speak down to that people.
Yeah. So so yeah, I just thought it'd be interesting. Maybe we can see what their arguments are here and go through it. So it's going to be nice and chill tonight. I don't think it's going to be hectic. I do have Discord open if anybody wants to come in. Oh yeah, I want to... Guys, also before we start, I just want to thank you to everybody that's already donated to the
E-buddy thing.
the backup body for my wife's mom. Thank you to you as well, PJ, because you helped by paying in the
I did it through PayPal because it wouldn't let me get on that thing, so I did it through PayPal. Yeah, no problem.
And I had another guy that also did it. So thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Let me just put the link up. Oh, sorry guys, I am a bit not all here tonight. There we
There's a
go.
little bit of delirium setting in. You might
Yeah,
start believing in the globe tonight.
I don't think I'll be that. I don't think that
Yeah,
it'll hit me that bad.
delirious.
I mean, you have to be really bad to get that, if possible. So yeah, please guys, there's the link. I'm going to got 820 bucks so far, so that's a good start. Donations to date. Oh, funds raised offline is 820. That was from your PayPal and that other guy's PayPal. And online to date is 2,160 rand so far. So we're getting there. We still got about 156,000 rand to go. But thank you again. Yeah. So thank you again for the support. Thank you everybody. Okay. You ready to go through this video?
Absolutely.
Let's do this.
And that is what NASA is predicting as it announces record flooding on Earth due to the shifting of the moon.
Okay, so the shifting of the moon, like I was saying, that's weird. So they're claiming floods, obviously, because they think the moon actually pools water because of gravity. You know that nonsense. So tell me again, how is the moon supposed to be shifting out of orbit? Because the heliocentric orbit has very fixed orbits. So the moon's not supposed to shift anywhere. So that's one red flag, I must say. But then again, they love making stories up for their ball to try and figure out things. I mean, the floods can easily be explained. I mean, they do weather manipulation, so. Okay, now I can stop it. A lot of.
How does the shifting moon cause flooding on the Earth, and where will the most effects be felt? Even though separated by hundreds of thousands of kilometers, the moon has huge effects on the Earth. In fact, scientists have claimed life would be completely different on Earth without the effect of the moon.
Science. Have they ever scientifically validated that?
I very much doubt it.
Owen says Dick Earth, extra funny to me because that is literally my dad's name. Yeah. Hey Rachie, good to see you. Thank you for coming. Yeah, theoretical dark matter and dark energy that's never been observed, etc. Yep, they don't have anything science. Just because they put science in the beginning means it's science somehow. Today I listened to that debate between Conspiracy Cats and King Croc on modern debates on young Earth, a young Earth to old Earth. And
so yeah, obviously Cats was old Earth.
The thing, he does the same thing always. When he brings up, this is what the debates thing about, I wanted scientific evidence type of thing, and he just repeats it over and over and over. And then he just makes claims that King Crocker never provided any scientific evidence from him. And when he does present it, then he just says, no, it's not to him valid. And then he says, no, he brought valid scientific paper. But nobody from any party did bring any scientific paper.
Was that an MDD, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched that yet. I'll have to watch that one.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff said, good to see you. And Jimmy J, thank you for coming. Jimmy J says it's relatively fixed orbit. No one says it's always exactly the same. So then we're not supposed to have the same tides then, Jimmy J? The same cycles? Thanks for debunking your own narrative. Yeah, we have what you call elliptical orbits on your model, which is a fixed elliptical orbit. That's why we have the fixed cycles. If it's not fixed, then it will not keep the same cycles, and therefore it destroys your own globe narrative.
But where did the moon come from? The prevailing scientific theory, the giant impact hypothesis, proposes that the moon formed when an object collided with early Earth.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, there was much more cosmic chaos in the early days of the universe than at the moment. Earth, like the other planets, formed from a remnant cloud of dust and gas orbiting the young sun.
There we go. They already literally said the sun came first, then the Earth. So this is. I'm going to say this again to all the Christians. If you are a Christian and you're a globe believer, don't you think it's time to be asking yourself why you believe the heliocentric model if it contradicts what the Bible says? The sun only came in the fourth day. Hey, Amelia Don, thank you for coming. Glad you could make it. He says, why don't you search for things you don't understand? You don't know everything. You don't cause what your infinite knowledge and find. I didn't claim to know everything, Media Don. I'm just literally stating the obvious to you. And this theory of Thea that they're claiming here is bullshit. And it's not scientific. It's not even a hypothesis because it's not scientific. It's a pseudo-scientific hypothesis. It's colloquial theory. It's belief.
It's made up in their head. Yes.
It's nonsense.
The early solar system was a violent place, and many bodies were formed that never advanced to planetary status. And one of these could have collided with Earth not long after the planet was formed. The Mars-sized body known as Theia collided.
See, Theia, just like I said. You don't understand why moon moves, so search for it Again, on your model, the moon is orbiting in an elliptical fashion, just like the Earth is orbiting in an elliptical fashion over the sun. That's what gives the cycles, according to your narrative, why we have tides. If it is not in that elliptical cycle orbit and it's shifting, then you're not going to have the same tide cycles. So stop telling me what I understand and don't understand, and just see the logic in the thinking. Hey, hey NH guy, good to see you. Anyone recommended a good video on space being fake? I haven't heard of a good explanation about the subject yet. Thanks in advance. We're busy looking at it now, Moxie.
What, space is actually fake? Oh, space?
Yeah.
Oh my, that's news, isn't it? Who would have thought?
Yeah.
With such nice pictures in the background, you see like them nice collisions, really, really pretty. You can see how people love space, can't you?
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of problems with this so-called theory. It's not actually a theory. They say it's like the size of, I think it was Mars or something. Don't you think if that had to hit into Earth, it would literally push it off of its elliptical orbit, and it would kind of leave a huge gaping hole in Earth, would not be spherical anymore, would it? Hey Sam, thank you for saying. Has Flatsoid been stung on the lip? Nope. I was bit by a tick beginning of the week, so I got tick bite fever. So I got an allergic reaction. So I'm busy morphing into a Simpson.
Yo, Michael.
Hey Michael, good to see you.
Popped in just to say this: if moon moves out in its orbit, then if it moves closer, won't it fall into Earth? And if it moves further away, won't it fly off into space?
Yep, because it's at its specific orbit. That's what's keeping everything in unison. If it goes off of that specific orbit, everything would be chaotic.
Yeah.
That's what I
That
said.
was a nice picture you put in chat, by the way, Michael. It really looks like a human transforming into a Simpson, doesn't it?
Yeah. Hey Freeman, thank you for coming. Good to see you.
I'm going to drop back because I'm eating.
In a bit, Michael.
Yeah, it's shot, mate. Hey, Jolly Man, Johnny Edwards, and faciality. Thank you for coming. Exactly. Something collided with the Earth and formed the moon. But the Earth is still somehow a perfect sphere. Shouldn't the Earth have rings like Saturn and huge concave hole from the... There's just too much holes in this theory, as they put it. It wouldn't change the orbit for sure. Yes, it would change the orbit for sure. That doesn't mean it wouldn't have an orbit unless the reaches escape velocity. What's that program that they usually use, Sandbox or something? Maybe someone should try that sometime. Take Earth in an orbit and then take a Mars-sized asteroid or something and let it hit into it and see what will happen to Earth. It definitely won't create a habitable Earth, that's for sure.
So, yeah, you'd think there'd be some evidence of that anyway.
Hey, Dr. Bass Ackwards, thank you for coming. And Debatable D. Universe Sandbox, there we go. Debatable D.
With Earth ejecting vaporized chunks of the young planet's crust into space, where gravity held the
Media Don, just because you don't understand it doesn't mean the rest of us don't. You don't need to project your ignorance onto us. Okay? How's that sound?
particles together, forming the largest moon in the solar system in relation to its host planet.
I'm sure it's very fun smashing planets in Narnia together. I'm sure it's a lot of fun. Movie show Parallax of the Stars. Yep. Don't forget universal gravitation attraction. Full of cat poo.
This type of formation would explain.
Sorry?
Nothing. I was just a delayed laugh at that, full of cat poo.
But yeah, so far we've seen a minute and 39, and all it's been is actual just belief nonsense that contradict the whole narrative of the heliocentric model. I mean, it needs to work in such perfect unison. This would take it out of that unison and would mean it wouldn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Why the moon is composed primarily of lighter elements, making it less dense than Earth. The material that formed it came from the planet's crust, while the rocky core remained untouched. As the material drew together around what remained of Theia's core, it would have centered near Earth's ecliptic plane, the path that the sun takes through the sky and where the moon currently orbits. When the young Earth collided with this rogue body, the energy involved was 100 million times greater than the much later event that wiped out the dinosaur.
They had to bring the dinosaurs in. Yeah, like we said, it's all just fantasy stories they made up, and it just doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's not what we don't understand, it's that we do not, when we do understand it, can see that it's not based in reality. Exactly. If something that big collided with Earth, then 85% of Earth's water would be gone instantaneously. There wouldn't be an Earth to have water, first of all, because the gravitational attraction between a Mars-sized planet and Earth, which is about the same almost, hitting into each other, it would literally just leave nothing. It would just leave debris everywhere in space, would it not? And then all that debris will literally go and find its nearest orbit to orbit around, like the rings of Saturn. Hey Rich R, thank you for coming, good to see you. Rob Keen, yeah, Earth is dirt. That's what Earth means, it's dirt, correct.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
For millennia, the rhythm of the moon's phases has guided humanity. For example, the calendar months you use to track time are roughly equal to the time it takes to go from one full moon to the next. However, the moon's orbit and phases can be perplexing. For example, the moon always shows us the same face, but...
So it's not a sphere then? Spheres don't have faces. So because it shows the same face, that means it's not a sphere. Welcome to Flat Earth, guys.
It implies that it's got a back to it.
Yeah, but why can't they show the backside of the moon? Oh wait, when they do, it's nothing. We'll just get CGI nonsense. It's not based on reality because you have a counter argument that disapproves it, or just because you can't fathom the idea. So it's, you know what, Mediadon, look here, it's open here in Discord. Come teach us a thing or two if you want to. Come. He says we don't understand, so come explain it to us. More than happy to listen. Come.
Hillary, it's not a film. It's not a film. It's literally like Michael's right. It's cartoon that we're watching. No, it's not film.
Hi SI man, good to see you. Thank you for coming. Yeah, we do get a lot of butthole trolls in here. The ticks are real.
The ticks are real.
So yeah, Mediadon, if you're trying to tell me we don't understand, you want to come and educate us, then my Discord chat is open for you. Come on. There we go. Come.
Its size changes depending on the moon's position in relation to Earth and the sun. While it is an Earth satellite, the moon is larger than Pluto with a...
I love how they're just making assumptions on everything. All the information they're giving is just, this is how it is, this is how it is, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, the moon is larger than Pluto. Nobody's been to Pluto. It's not even classified as a planet anymore, so why are you even talking about it?
Yeah, and Pluto, the dog's face is embossed there.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? We all with these bare faces and everything on landscapes, and
they're literally making fun of these people, and they literally think it's real. He said, I'd love to come prepared to debate you on Polaris if you would allow. You can come anytime and debate me on Polaris, my dear. Ma, you can come on now and talk about the moon's orbits because you say we don't understand. You can explain it to us. Simple as that. Because you say we don't understand, so come educate us then. They should have had a Planet Popeye. I agree.
Hillary, I'm so funny, beautiful. I could watch these films all day. One day we'll be able to go there. Oh, okay. What a story.
So it's like when you watch Avatar. Have you watched the new Avatar 2 yet? It's actually done very, very well. You like watching it, so does that mean you'd be able to become an Avatar one day and go there? No, you can't. It's the same thing. Hey Dank, good to see you, and Flat Earth Warriors, thank you for coming. Let's go.
Diameter of about 2,159 miles or 3,475 kilometers. That does not mean we have the biggest moon in the solar system, though. There are 4 other moons in our solar system that are even larger than our own. But the moon is slightly larger than 1/4 or about 27% the size of the Earth.
That's also the thing that doesn't make sense. If Theia crashed into Earth that was the size of, let's say, Mars, does that kind of show like it's split the Earth and the Moon in two? Correct? Wait.
475 kilometers. That does not mean we have the biggest moon in the solar system, though. There are 4 other moons in our solar system that are even larger than our own. But the moon is slightly larger than 1/4 or about 27% the size of the Earth.
27% the size of Earth. So yeah, it's just about a quarter of Earth. Really odd stuff. But also, let's say the moon did come from all the debris and whatever. Now it's making an elliptical orbit. Do you think it's going to make a perfect sphere?
All that spinning through all them billions of years and that has just made it perfectly spherical. You know?
Yeah, what we get is CGI cartoons and then they say it's true.
But shouldn't that spinning really just make it a tube, a cylinder?
I mean, what happens when you give something enough centripetal force? It's not going to be a circle. Yep.
Exactly.
You'll need a flat earth to scale this claim with R. Exactly, Nathan. Good to see you, mate. Thank you for coming. Media Don, my point is you don't have an explanation on why the moon is there and why it revolves around the earth. It's better to have a scientific counter-argument rather than state something fake. No, the point is you say we don't understand while I'm literally teaching you your own religion. And I'm saying why it's bunk while we're going through it. The moon is there because God placed the moon there. There we go. There's your counter argument. Thank you for your $5 super chat, Faciality. I really, really appreciate it. The rotating moon has a backside, but we only ever see the face. No matter where your position is rotating spherical Earth, I smell BS. Yeah, thank you very much for the super chat. Exactly. I remember when Dave McKeegan tried to debunk the Earth as with the moon and the flat Earth, where he took a ball and then he put it on the scene and said, "Look, you can see the other side of the sphere." So
Wow.
yeah, you can never see the other side of the sphere because it's not a sphere. Spheres don't have faces.
Earth a much greater ratio than any other moon to its planet. This means that the moon has a significant impact on our planet, may even play a role in the evolution of life on Earth.
Evolution again. They always have to bring evolution into it.
Evolution.
Evolution, exactly.
To appreciate the effects of the moon on the Earth, it is necessary to understand what the moon is made of. The moon most likely has...
Yeah, Dank, God did do it. It's as simple as that. Because you have ontological primitives. Either it was created or it came from nothing. The one that came from nothing has to bow by natural law. In other words, it would be violating natural law if it came from nothing. God created it, aka it doesn't violate natural law, and God is supernatural, so he could create it. And it doesn't mean it's physical.
Yep. Takes more faith to believe in evolution, Big Bang, than it does to believe in God, I think.
Definitely.
a very small core that is only 1 to 2% of its mass and 420 miles or 680 kilometers wide.
How did they get all this anyway? I mean, we've only dug 8 miles into the surface and they can get deeper. But yet they have all this information as like fact.
And everything inside of the sphere is a sphere as well, you know, the molten core, even though it's liquid, is spherical, you know.
I'm going to quickly go to paint. I wanted to do something today, but yeah, like I said, I just so dear my car lately. Okay, let's say this is Earth, guys. This is something I was thinking of today. let's say that's Earth. Okay, how do you paint whatever? Okay, anyway, let's say that's Earth. Now we're going to have the moon. I have the moon here, and the moon phase I could see like that. So that's shadow. This was shadow. Okay? The sun was here. Why is the shadow looking like that? Because you're saying it's lighting up the moon. But that's fine. But what's going on now, as the sun is moving away further over a curve, it still has the same phase. And the light is now blocked by the Earth, apparently. Do they see the contradiction here?
I mean, there definitely is one, but they probably don't see it.
Because now if the moon is, the Earth is in front of the way, because I mean the sun's now set, why is the shadow not here as well? Understand? Because it's supposed to be blocking it. That's just something I was looking to. I was like, that phase of the moon is staying exactly the same, no matter the time of day. More people think in a donut than concave. Hey YouTube, thank you for coming. Yep. This is just a fun WhatsApp, because Earth is actually just dirt. That's what Earth means. Hey Brian Stavely, thank you for coming. Glad the donut Earths are probably way more pleasant to be around than concavers. I think so, yeah. So yeah, guys, maybe if we stay long enough, you'll watch my full transformation into a Simpson. But thanks again all for coming. Glad you could make it.
It is most likely made up of iron, but it may also contain significant amounts of sulfur and other elements. The moon's rocky mantle is approximately 825 miles or 1,330 kilometers thick and composed of dense iron and magnesium-rich rocks.
And how did they work all this out? Did they go and actually measure this? Any globe in here, can you please tell us how they got the information about the moon like that? In such detail. When the moon is between sun and earth, we can't see any light reflected. New moon. I got exactly the same moon the whole day, and the light has not changed. It's showing the same phase. Do you get it? So in the daytime, the moon and the sun is together. There's no earth blocking it on your model, and yet not the whole moon is lit up. Now when the sun is setting, it's setting, and the shadow is staying the same, but yet the same light is being cast on the moon. You know why that makes more sense on a flat earth? Let me show you quickly. Paint. Here's the earth. Here's the sun. And here's the moon. Okay? It's got its phase. Now, let's move the sun away. You see, it's still showing the same light. On a flat earth, the sun is just moving away. It's just moving away. So now the light cannot reach the earth anymore, but look, it would still show the same phase on the moon. Now, obviously on the flat earth we do say the moon is self-illuminating. It's not because of the sun. But now let's put this onto the globe narrative. Like I said, we've got the globe in the way. Now, where is the sun supposed to go now? If it's going, okay, it's lighting up, it's going, now it's going behind a curve. How's it still lighting up the same phase? It can't. Obviously that wasn't to scale, it was just quickly showing you guys what an idiotic thing it is. Yeah, the moon is self-illuminating, Hillary M. It's shown to be this as well. Hi Geometry Wombat, thank you for coming. Glad you can make it. And if you guys don't believe me, why don't you go and just literally see that the moon gives cold radiation off, not heat radiation. The sun won't set on a flat earth. The sun can set on any object, Media Don. I've shown this with demonstration many times.
The sun is very far away. It's funny how they think it's funny that the moon's self-illuminating, when I think it's so funny that they don't believe that.
Why is it so hard to believe that a non-physical object can be self-illuminating? You know what I find really idiotic with these guys? If you, like, for instance, just say, okay, I can speculate the moon can be a plasmoid. Then they say it's rubbish. But then you go and look at their narrative, what many of their things in their solar system are plasmoids.
Mm.
So I don't know what's wrong with them, but yeah, they like being contradictory with everything, and they literally won't. If it's doesn't go for their model, they would say nah. But if it goes for their model, they'll say yep, it's fine, even though it contradicts their own statements.
Yep.
Hey Alan Norstrand, good to see you, mate. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you can make it. Media Don, the sun is 140 kilometers from Earth. Wow. You should go and tell your priests that, because I think it's 93 million miles away.
Magma from the mantle rose to the surface and erupted volcanically for more than 1 billion years, from at least 4 billion to less than 3 billion.
And who was here to figure this out, to see this?
Yeah.
And have they ever been able to take samples of the moon to be able to do their carbometric dating, which is also shown to be very false, by the way? It keeps having inconsistencies. I mean, look at when they did try and bring so-called moon rock to test. They came out to what? I think it was 3.5 million years old. Or 4 million years old. And then later on, the moon samples were found to just be petrified wood. Hey, Exposed Antarctica, thank you for coming. Good to see you. But yeah, it's insane, the stories that these guys come up with, and they just accept it. It doesn't matter what, just because they put it there with, this is the data, we say this. How did they validate this data? That's my question to you. Where did they get the validation of this?
Yeah, from each other. That's it.
Hey, Carolpa, good to see you. And Moomin Rider, glad you can make it, mate.
Years ago, and the crust that includes the lunar surface is 42 miles or 70 kilometers deep on average. Due to all the large impacts the moon has endured, the outermost part of the crust is broken and jumbled, with the shattered zone giving way to intact material below a depth of about 6 miles or 9.6 kilometers.
It's a lot of information for something you can't validate. And it's amazing how asteroids only go at 90-degree angles on the moon. Very odd stuff. I mean, here in South Africa we got, where was it? We got like a crater, the supposed meteor shock crater. I think it's like the cradle of humankind or something. And the funny thing is, no, the crater. Okay, no, where's that crater? It was close to the cradle of humankind. Anyway, there's supposed to be some huge crater here in South Africa. And I remember going there. Right, the Fredefort, there we go. Can anybody show me where the where that asteroid is? Anyway, just give me a clue. Can you see it anywhere?
No.
And then I want to ask you, let's just ignore that the meteor's not there. Did it hit it at a 90-degree angle? Odd stuff. And all the craters are like this, the supposed craters. And then when they dig deep enough, they find water geysers underneath.
That's what I was going to say. I believe they're all fountains from
Noah's time, the Noah's flood.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's much more evidence that that's just geysers from when there was Noah's flood, the Great Flood, than it is for impact craters, because it just doesn't make sense. Look at all those things. Come on, 90-degree angles at everything. 90-degree angles, and there's no asteroids anywhere to be found. No meteors, no asteroids, whatever they call them. There's nothing. There is an explanation for why the incident angle of the meteor does not matter. What's more plausible? Showing that there are geysers that literally let water from underneath pop out, which is literally can be demonstrably shown because there's even water underneath them, under their basements, or some mysterious rock falls from the sky always at the 90-degree angle and then the rock disappears once it has impacted.
It pulverizes into dust and just disappears, blows away.
Well, then show the geysers. It's busy showing you the geysers. That's why most of them are filled with water, because the water from underneath has filled up. I mean, even your Yellowstone volcanoes, it has geysers. We should actually do a subject maybe on this sometime. I think it would be interesting to cover.
Yeah, interesting. It is interesting.
Yeah, exactly. No dig marks from the meteor dragging across faciality. It always just hits at some weird 90-degree angle, some magical speed. But yet again, they believe the nonsense. Jimmy J, or option C you don't understand. Or how about you come explain it to us then? Discord's still open for you. Come explain it.
The moon, like our solar system's four innermost planets, is rocky. It's riddled with craters left by asteroid impacts millions of years ago, and the craters haven't eroded because there's no weather. The lunar surface is roughly 43% oxygen, 20% silicon, 19% magnesium, 10% iron, 3% calcium, 3% aluminium, 0.42% chromium, 0.18% titanium, and 0.12% manganese.
Wow, and how did they figure all this out? Is the moon a globe? No, definitely not. It's got a face, so that means it's not a globe. Have you ever seen a shooting star? That's an asteroid. If it's large enough, it will reach Earth like it happened to Russia. That's just you having a belief that a shooting star is the same thing.
Yeah, just a quick one.
Yeah.
It said craters anti-eroded on moon because there's no weather, so why is there craters on Earth then?
Also very true. I mean, it makes more sense than air bubbles. Don't know if you've seen these air bubbles on the beaches. It looks more like what... I mean, this makes more scientific sense than what they are claiming for the craters to be. You know, we've got the air bubbles pulling through the sand. And it gives these like crater looking thing kind of things. Trying to see if I can find a nice photo there.
Terry Riker did a good video about moon craters.
Yeah, he did.
Did he? I mean, look at this. These look
did
more...
one about the geysers as well on that, yeah.
That's an interesting subject. As I said, maybe we can go on it sometime. I mean, look at this. This looks much more than... okay, that's obviously looks like poked holes. But I mean, I would rather think this is more plausible than what they are saying.
What's lunar libration?
Who cares?
I don't know what that is, so I can't comment on that one.
The guy who doesn't know that he debunked himself when he was doing a presentation and asking questions. Get out here, Andrew.
Why is there shadows on the moon if it's self-illuminating? Who's to say it's even a shadow, media? Who's to say it's even shadows?
Bible describes it as two great lights, so it must be self-illuminating. I mean, in your model, sun's self-illuminating, isn't it?
It doesn't say one great light, and the one great light will shall provide light for both day and night. You know, it says two great lights. One got to be bigger than the other.
Yeah, but in their model, stars and suns they're all creating light. So
exactly.
It's a ridiculous thing to say, if you ask me.
At the end of the day, no one knows what the moon and sun are. What you say is just speculation about it. And that's the whole point of the show. Yeah, that's the whole point of the show. All they've been doing is giving information based on belief without validation.
I mean, I'd love to find out for sure, but I pretty much know I'm not going to. I think it's a supernatural thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Expose Antarctica, it's always good to see you, mate. I'm glad you can make it. Johnny Edwards says, guys, this cost $1,000 an hour. Yeah. Again, second best Bob, they look like shadows, doesn't mean they are shadows. As simple as that. Your speculation that it's a spherical rock in this floating vacuum with a shadow is just a speculation. Can you validate that? No, you cannot.
But listen, but I mean, I believe it's self-illuminating because that's what Scripture says it is. It's a light. Yeah. But just say it in. There's no reason why sun can't illuminate moon on a flat Earth. So it's no proof it's shape of Earth.
No, of course not.
Yeah, it's not going to change. I mean, even on a flat Earth, we can say, okay, it's a spherical object. But is that going to change that it's a flat Earth or not? No, it's not. We're just literally saying we don't know what it is, but we're taking it because it only shows one face, therefore it's not spherical. But I can tell you one thing, it's definitely not a rock falling sideways in a sky vacuum.
Traces discovered on the lunar surface by orbiting spacecraft may have originated deep underground. They've also discovered hundreds of pits that could one day house long-term lunar explorers. Water is more abundant on slopes facing the lunar south pole, according to observations from the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbital, or LRO.
Yeah, always got to use things that only space agencies can validate, guys.
Scientists caution that the amount of water is comparable to an extremely dry desert. Meanwhile, another study suggests...
No, Media Don, again, I didn't say shadows are fake. I said it's your validation of your claim that is wrong. Listen to what we're saying. Can you validate your speculation that there are actually shadows on a physical rock falling sideways in a sky vacuum? Simple answer, no. Hey, Professor Harvester, good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Andrew, what about showing us lunar libration
animation
instead of animation, mate? Animation, not interested.
Yeah, we want the real thing.
Suggested that the moon's interior could be rich in water. Now, many people are surprised by the effects of the moon on our planet. For example, early Earth spun much faster. Computer models show that Earth had a 6-hour day, 4.5 billion.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
It's easy just to say, this much time span, this is what happened then, therefore this is... Please, show us empirical evidence how this happened, how you validate this. Anybody.
So that's how we used to live longer in biblical days, because we span faster.
So in other words, that's how people lived 900 days, because it was only a 6-hour day. It wasn't 24 hours.
That's the one.
So if you lived like 100, let's say 100, you lived to 400 years.
Yeah.
Because the days were only 6 hours long.
Yeah, I got it now. I'm convinced.
That makes sense. Okay. Oh man. So any Globie, please come and show us your scientific validation for these speculations.
billion years ago. Since then, Earth has been slowing down and our days have been getting longer thanks to our moon. Growth rings in fossil corals and shells, as well as ancient photosynthetic bacteria layers known as stromatolites, provide evidence of this. Stromatolites from 850 million years ago recorded a day length of about 21 hours.
Yes. These animators are probably lied to, saying that they are doing it in order to progress science. Yeah, actually that is it.
Fossil corals 400 million years ago lived on a planet with 22-hour days. Over time, the moon's gravitational...
How did they work this out? How do you know how much light something got from how much long time span, if it was underwater or buried or whatever? I mean, those sediments literally showed a cataclysmic flood. And that's why they're fossilized.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they still want to argue against the flood of Noah. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Does the video have citations? It doesn't look like it.
It's got some pretty colours in it though.
No, the imaging is done beautiful, that I have to admit.
Yeah.
But just making a story doesn't make it fact.
Pull on the Earth borrowed some of the Earth's spin energy, gradually propelling the moon into higher and higher orbits. The Apollo laser experiments prove that the moon is receding at a rate of 2 inches or 5 centimeters per year.
So it's changing about 5 centimeters per year, guys. So that means that the tides are supposed to change then, especially because it's got an elliptical orbit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 5 centimeters is going to make a huge difference if you, let's say, 124,000 miles away and you are moving around a orbit. Because let's say you have to take a longer distance around something, it's going to show a huge difference because you're taking a longer distance. So therefore something is going to change. Therefore you would have more tides or less tides, a longer tide or a shorter tide. Yet we do not see the changes in tide cycles. They stay the same, which then goes against their model that's saying it's the sun and the moon that causes the tides.
Mm.
The distance between the Earth and the Moon grew while their spins shrank. Today, the Earth rotates once every 24 hours. It takes over 27 days for today's more distant Moon to complete one full orbit around Earth. Our Moon, like Earth, rotates on its own axis and goes through daylight and night.
I just have to point out, guys, have you seen all the pictures they've been showing of Earth? Where has South Africa been shown on the globe? Bottom, correct? Hey Mark, hey Flatsabbath, good to see you, thank you for coming. So yeah, how do we explain this to Dave McKeegan that even your globe has an up and down? It's called a 23.5 degree tilt, axis tilt, and that means it's based on a 90 degree. So yes, your globe does have orientation up and down. So Australia would be bottom of your globe. Hey Dustin Bones, thank you for coming. You didn't miss much, Mark. We're just watching a video where these people are claiming a whole bunch of things without having any validation to them. And when we ask the Globies in chat to come and validate it, they make excuses. Hey, we've got 1% concave in, 3% donut.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's more chance of it being a donut than a globe.
Cycles. The day and night cycles on our Moon are longer than those on Earth. The Moon spins on its axis once every 27.3 days. However, the Moon takes the same amount of time to spin once as it does to orbit Earth completely. This means that observers on Earth always see the same side of the Moon, that is, the near side. During lunar missions, the side not visible from Earth, that is, the far side, was mapped. The Moon also contributes...
That's nonsense. the far side was mapped. Hey JJ, good to see you. No, it was just drawn in like they usually do. That's why you get like the Chinese that show a total different backside of the moon. Photos from a sky vacuum. Yep, exactly. Can't get photos from a sky natural violating space. Outer space is fake. You can't have gas pressure in a container. The sky was a vacuum. The gas you breathe would fill the space. 100% agree, Nathan.
Absolutely.
Contributes to seasonal stability on the Earth. The massive impact that created the moon may have tipped the Earth slightly, contributing to our North Pole's 23.5 degrees tilt.
See, so even based on the heliocentric narrative, you do have an orientation, because it would have tilted it slightly to what? To 23.5 degrees. So that would be based off of a 90 degree. Sorry, Dave McKeegan, you do know that your narrative tells you have an orientation to your globe. Hey, second best Bob, £5 super chat. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Okay, would they fake all this stuff? Why would they just let everyone know the truth? Okay, let's put it this way. If you were caught lying, let's say you lied about something, like they had to go to the moon, and they found it to be fake, and they had so much people working on this effort, so much money to put into it. So they go and they have to keep the lie. Now, if they had to say, sorry guys, it wasn't real, they're not going to trust them again, are they?
Exactly. They've got to double down on it and double down it and double down it right till they can't anymore.
Remember, it's got to do with governance. You got to govern the people.
But
so
you have to be divinating crazy people's thoughts, and you know what does drive them.
But yeah, it's also true. It's just appealing to motivate fallacies. We can't motivate with some. I'm just giving a story to why they could lie. But thank you very much for your super chat, second best Bob. I appreciate the cash. Yeah.
Why do governments create fake things in order to go to war?
Exactly. It's power, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's power. I mean, having knowing something, well, thinking they know something, or deceiving people into believing things that ain't true. That gives them some kind of power trip. Do you know what I mean? That's power over people. Do you know what I mean? It's deluding people. It's a form of control. Do you know what I mean? So it's power. It's power.
Nathan says, "Don't touch your face. It's a bit difficult. It's itching." I'm trying not to. Yeah.
Have you got a crane stuck in your brain as well?
Sorry?
Have you got a crane stuck in your brain as well?
I've got a headache, and I'm kind of disorientated, so I do feel kind of confused, so it's difficult to concentrate.
You don't get it, dear. I'm a Simpson reference.
Oh, with the monkey in the brain.
when Dr. pulls crane out of Homer's brain, he becomes clever.
Yeah. Oh man. But like I said, it's just weird. All the narrative that the Globers push, and they can never validate any of it. Never at all. And then they want us to replace their story for them if they've been shown to be false. When do all scientists meet to decide a lie on the masses? The scientists are not lying. They believe what they're doing is true, because they're not using science, they're using pseudoscience. Just because it gets peer-reviewed, aka money, it's a publishing scandal, doesn't make it actual scientific. He says, that makes no sense. It would cost government more to lie about space and shit. You know how they make much more money than they're spending, and they're keeping everybody gullible enough to pay the taxes to do it. If they had to say, listen here guys, moon was fake, after spent how much billions of dollars and time spent, they would have said, well, if they couldn't get this right, then how could we trust them with something else in the future?
They just print it anyway. Have you seen America's national debt?
Everybody's dead. Everybody's debt's insane. Hey, Lumpy Gas and Vacuum, thank you for coming. Lumpy Gas and Vacuum's actually got an awesome idea. we're going to be doing some CNC AutoCAD renderings showing why the globe cannot be true.
Okay.
He says 23.5 degrees from the orbital plane versus equatorial plane. That doesn't make one side up and down. Oh yes, that does.
But yeah, there's a picture on the screen where I can see where it's clearly showing an up.
Yeah.
I
It's
did that.
based on a 90-degree angle. That equatorial plane is cut through that 90-degree angle, and that's what gives you access of 23.5 degrees access of tilt.
Show me a picture of Earth anyway where America's upside down.
Mm-hmm.
So I said 90% of the time you get like one picture where it just shows it like at a little bit of a different angle. But it's so easy just to take this and just turn it around. When they show a moving Earth or something, it's always South America at the bottom, South Africa at the bottom, Australia at the bottom. That's why it's called down under, guys.
Away from straight up, this tilt determines our
Straight up. Wait. Listen.
gate at the moon may have tipped the Earth slightly, contributing to our North Pole's 23.5 degrees tilt away from straight up.
Straight up. There we go.
Yeah.
The words out of it. So straight up. There we go. You have an orientation, guys. It's easier to trust YouTubers who most of them are lying for financial motive than peer-reviewed papers agreed upon scientists. Peer review is not scientific. It's a publishing scandal. They make money off of peer review. There's no science in peer review today.
Funnily enough, there's doctors talking out now about, boogie virus and poison.
Yeah, exactly. What don't they get? Peer review. The thing that goes with peer review today, because it's not what peer review always was. It was to take a hypothesis that an experiment that was already validated, and they would go and test it for themselves, and then publish it as publish their results. That's what peer review was. Today, it's simply I get to choose which one I want to publish and not to publish, which one's going to give me more money. Not to see if it's actually true or not. They literally just take equations and they say those equations is now scientific. Or they have opinions on the matter. That's why you get people that go against the mainstream narrative, and they literally get thrown out of the scientific community, you could say, because they don't work with science. Opinions, science doesn't care about people's opinions and beliefs. I still want person to show me where Newton had a scientific hypothesis and an experiment to validate his so-called gravity that was peer-reviewed. How do you get something peer-reviewed if you don't have a hypothesis and you don't have an experiment to validate that hypothesis? You can't. Yet it went to peer review. How does that work? It doesn't. Hey Doberman, good to see you. Thank you for coming. Glad you could make it. Peer review means every scientist have tested and it has been accepted as factual. You want to back that up? You want to back that up, media? How did every scientist go and validate Pluto? How much water is on Pluto? Show me how they validated that scientifically, please. First give me the hypothesis, then give me the experiment, and then give me all the peer-reviewed papers that did that experiment. Oh wait, they couldn't. Ah, that sucks.
Max to North, aren't they?
Yeah, peer review is a joke, guys.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking, I'm saying Andrew in my head. But don't maps have like a North pointer on it?
Maps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Determines our seasons, and the moon's presence helps to keep this tilt relatively stable. The moon's gravitational pull serves as
Media Down says, show me the peer review you're on, not just guesswork. Did I claim to be on peer review? I just told you peer review is a joke. Hi, Tony Whitcomb. Thank you for coming. Glad you can make it. I do not know what Earth is. I do know Earth is just sand. It's dirt. It's sand. Where we come from, dust you came, to dust you shall go. I pretty know. Thank you very much, Moomin Rider. Appreciate it. Peer review on Pluto. Where is it? I asked you. How did the peer review scientifically that there was water on Pluto?
Have they managed to decide that there's water on a light in the sky when it resides in a place that's physically impossible? Good luck peer reviewing that anyway.
I was laughing the other day. Remember, Michael, I told you, astronomer, an amateur astronomer, guys, found clouds on the sun and rain. Now, Now tell me again, how do you get clouds and rain on a plasma ball of gas in a vacuum?
Was that underneath the part that fell off?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Clouds and rain on the sun, guys.
Unbelievable.
That's that I don't know. It's because they just assume everything and then just say, oh, peer review, consensus. Oh, so you're saying every scientist is just wrong? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, because they just have a belief and they follow the money.
Alright, and so what about scientists that disagree? Like, what about scientists that disagree with evolution and that? You know, that not all scientists agree.
Mm-hmm. No, but you see, they love saying consensus. If consensus is on your side, then all of a sudden that means you're science. No. Science is not consensus based. It's got nothing to do with people's opinions and beliefs. It either validates a hypothesis or it doesn't. That's science. Finished and club. Okay, let's carry on.
Training wheels for Earth's orbit around the Sun. It maintains the Earth's axis at a constant angle. The Earth's stately progression through spring, summer, fall, and winter would have fluctuated greatly over eons if not for the Moon. The Moon also gives us a shining light. Of course, the Moon, like the planets, does not produce its own light.
Hi, Detective. Detective, good to see you. Thank you for coming. See, already making claims. Does not project its own light. So just making a claim that it doesn't. Can he actually go and present us evidence that it doesn't project its own light?
But it shines because it reflects the light of the sun. What?
Okay.
While careful statistical studies have found...
How they're having rainbows in a non-atmospheric vacuum? Can you see this? They're showing rainbows in a non-atmospheric vacuum. That's impossible. You can't have light refraction in a vacuum. It's crazy. And can't be a reflection either, Nathan, exactly. This is total bullshit.
No link between the full moon and strange behavior. The light from the full moon does make it easier for humans and other animals to see.
Yeah, the light from the full moon, because it's self-illuminating. Because the full moon, when it self-illuminates, would not be able to be illuminated by the sun, because the sun would be on the other side of the earth, where the earth is blocking it. That's the Bifrost. Light can be refracted in a vacuum, media. That goes against what refraction is.
I've got a video on my channel about talking about peer review.
Mm-hmm. Media Don, light requires a medium to be able to have refractive index. If there's no medium to have a refractive index, it can't refract. Hence, you can't get a rainbow. Do you know that? It's just nonsense.
And be seen. Changes in predator success rates and prey.
And it's also true. Direct vacuum without a roof. How the hell did they get it right?
Animal foraging patterns have been documented as a result of this increased nighttime illumination, according to studies. Corals time their mating events according to the phases of the moon.
Yeah, and if you go and do deep sea diving at night, you'll find that the temperatures are different compared to when the sun is up. Why is that? Because the moon gives cold radiation off where the sun gives hot radiation. Hi Quinlan, good to see you. Thank you for coming. Vacuum is anything without molecules. Yeah, so no gas, then you have nothing to refract with. Thank you very much. So no rainbow in a vacuum. The vacuum has to be contained. No one can show us any kind of gas pressure that would not be contained. It's impossible to have pressure without containment, because that's what pressure is.
The tides change the coastal environment, which causes most other animal behaviors related to the moon. And by far the most consequential effect of the moon on our life on Earth is tides. The moon's gravity pulls the water on the nearest side.
Sorry, what does gravity do again? What is gravity? Now, what happens to... This is also bullshit. There's so much places on Earth where we don't have any tides, or we have 2 to 3 tides. Sun and moon can be together over the ocean and we don't have a tide. That doesn't make sense, does it? I mean, you're supposed to be having the gravitational pull from the moon and the sun together, and we don't have a tide. Yeah. No proof at all of gravity, exactly. Meteodon says light is electromagnetic radiation. It doesn't need molecules like sound. For refraction, it requires a medium, Don. That's what refraction is. It's incident angle to a medium. I swear these trolls get dumber by the day.
It seems that way, doesn't it?
Andrew says, if you run out of stuff to talk about, you could give my live stream review video. We can do that. You guys want to do a review of mine and Andrew's live debate? A reaction to that?
Yeah.
We can do that, but it's not going to be good for you though, Andrew. I can tell you that. Because you literally just proved flat Earth from the start.
A bit pointless exercise in my opinion. Like,
yeah.
Of Earth towards it as the Earth rotates each day, causing a bulge. Due to centrifugal force caused by the Earth's rotation, the sea bulges on the opposite side as well. The Earth rotates beneath these watery bulges, causing 2 high tides and 2 low tides each day.
And some places have 3 high tides, some places have no high tides. So showing it bullshit.
Meteodon doesn't know the difference between refraction and diffraction.
No, he doesn't. That's why I'm just leaving it now, because the guy's a nut. I literally invited him to come into Discord and try and educate me, but he made excuses, as you heard. So, but I mean, I don't know how he's going to educate me if he doesn't even understand refraction requires a medium.
The moon's orbit wobbles between a maximum and a minimum of 5 degrees relative to the Earth's equator every 18.6 years. This cycle, first recorded in 1728, is known as the lunar nodal cycle. The tides on Earth become smaller as the lunar plane tilts away from the equator.
See what I say? It's like a elliptical orbit kind of thing. Now, if it's shifting, we're supposed to have different tides. And yet the tides don't change, so it just throws away the whole theory that the moon causes tides on Earth. So, that's a way to validate if the moon causes tides or not. It's shifted and it has not changed the cycles. So therefore, it's not the moon causing the tides. Full stop.
Yep.
equatorial plane, and the tides are exaggerated when the moon's orbit is closer to the Earth's equator. And according to NASA, rising sea levels caused by climate change combined with the influence of the lunar nodal cycle will result in a dramatic increase in the number of high tide floods soon. Benjamin Hamilton, a research scientist and the leader of NASA's Sea Level Change Science team, studies how sea levels respond to both the natural and human actions.
Hi Richard, thank you for coming, good to see you. What is the moon, Dustin Burns? I don't know. Like I said, I cannot make speculations what it is. But I do know it's not a rock falling sideways in a sky vacuum.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you require a flat horizontal elevation angle to get your angle to Polaris. I mean, you do know that the governments and stuff have been playing around with weather manipulation technology for decades. I mean, HARP and stuff is one of them. It's easy just to play around, and they have to have an excuse on why we have floods or droughts and stuff. When you manipulate the weather, you manipulate the cycles.
Is this Dustin Bones for real? How long have you spent hanging around in this chat? And you've never heard us say we don't know what sun or moon is? Are you for real, really?
Dustin Bones has been in this chat for what? At easily over 2-3 years already? In my chat?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And what this means for coastal populations. Prior to relocating to California, Hamilton lived in coastal Virginia, where flooding was already a major issue. So he had a first-hand experience of the devastating effects of floods. According to Hamilton, these floods, exacerbated by the moon, will damage infrastructure and alter coastlines.
So he makes a claim the moon is going to cause all these things. So he's like a doomsday prophet. He's a moonerologist.
His point is we don't know about stuff, but nobody's ever claimed. We never claimed to know what the moon or the sun is.
Mm-hmm.
That's not everything. That doesn't include everything. That's two subjects.
The guy's a moron.
Yeah.
There we go. Watch this.
Scientists in Trinidad and Tobago believe they can build a rocket to go to the sun. Scientists in the United States said it is impossible that a rocket cannot go to the sun, it will be melted. The scientists of Trinidad and Tobago said they are not going in the day, they are going in the night. Scientists in Trinidad and Tobago.
I just had to play that. That is how dumb globies are, guys.
Nah.
That's crazy. That's what they believe. I mean, that guy was serious.
They all are. Even idiots in chat are serious.
Yep.
Absolutely mental.
That's what's funny about it.
Flooding will increase fourfold. Since the lunar nodal cycle affects every location on the planet and sea levels are rising everywhere, we will see an increase in high tide floods all over the world. And it's not just humans that will bear the effects of these floods. The lunar nodal cycle may present many challenges for humans, but it poses an existential threat to wildlife and coastal ecosystems. Rutgers University visiting professor Ilya Rocklin investigates the relationship between the lunar nodal cycle and salt marsh mosquito population.
Non-forces don't cause tides, exactly. Gravity is not a force, so it can't do anything. F equals ma is not applicable to something that's not a force. You require a force for a mass to accelerate. No force, no accelerating mass, aka the moon cannot do anything, the sun cannot do anything. It's not a force.
She is not optimistic about the animal's chances. She explains that high tides flood mosquito habitats further landward when the nodal cycle is at its peak. Tidal flooding is more common during this time of year, bringing with it killifish, a group of several hundred species of minnow-like fish found in salt, brackish and fresh waters. These predators will eliminate or reduce mosquito populations in the egg, larva or pupa stages of development before the insects can fly out of the water.
All about so why do objects accelerate toward the ground when they are dropped? What is the force? Pressure. When something has a higher pressure, it's going to force its way through the lower pressure. Hence why it accelerates. There we go.
Where they are born, but there are usually fewer mosquitoes at the peak of the cycle, so tides may flood mosquito habitats very infrequently at the trough of the nodal cycle, giving them enough time to emerge and thus increasing their populations. That is bad news. And it's not just mosquitoes that suffer. Their abundance is a proxy for the health of many other species. Invertebrates such as shrimp, crabs, snails, grasshoppers, and other
And that's what I said. Playing around with things like HAARP, weather manipulation, causes the stuff, and they have to have an excuse for it because it's causing problems with our ecosystem.
Insects replace large mammalian herbivores in salt marshes. These in turn provide a significant food source for shorebirds and fish. But when combined with increased sea level rise, the peak lunar nodal cycle creeps.
You know what I find really odd and disturbing? Through all the years, I mean, Michael and PJ, you probably also heard this, how they've been saying sea levels have been rising since you were a child, correct? Have you guys been seeing any sea levels rising anyway?
No.
I mean,
None at all. I heard that the ice caps were going to melt, and the global warming was going to happen. The ice caps would melt, and then we'd have a lot higher level of sea. You know what I mean? They'd be able to keep on that, and we'd lose some land and stuff like that.
I've been to the same coast, Skeggy, every year for about 50 years, and I've not seen sea rise.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. I mean, in Cape Town, they got in Cape of Good Hope, they got that castle there. In the 1800s, it was fully watered. They had a moat and everything, water high up. If you go there today, there's hardly any water there. There's no water in the moat anymore. But the water levels are supposed to be rising. How does that work? That's why I say when they come with this nonsense that the water levels are rising, blah, 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 it's just bullshit.
Creates the real possibility of drowning salt marshes. And what happens when salt marsh invertebrates die? Well, the shorebirds, fish and other species that rely on them suffer greatly. And this includes people. The salt marshes are vital to the global economy. So
yeah, it is local to the, and they want to crash the economy. So obviously with weather manipulation, it's working perfectly into their hands. Remember, everybody must come into digital currency. Hey, Lotion Basket, good to see you, mate.
How you guys doing?
Good and yourself. Thank you for popping by.
You know, just driving through 4 inches of snow in my race car, but you know, other than that, it's awful. It just keeps hitting us. Yeah, just one thing. What I was thinking is that if say the theory of the floating continents was real, well, if they keep dredging the sand and keep putting it more and more buildings on top of the any continent, maybe they're sinking in the water a little bit more.
Because it's getting heavier.
Yeah.
Interesting theory.
Yeah.
But that's all.
Nice, I like it.
More plausible than gravity, though.
Absolutely. Anything's more plausible than that.
Serving as a nursery for a diverse range of marine life, including more than 75% of all fishery species. Salt marshes are also important for the environment because...
Okay, this is actually getting boring because he's just stating the obvious. Faciality, $5 super chat, thank you very much. Science says humanity has been around 2.4 million years. Somehow we've avoided extinction, level events that long in a hostile vacuum. Lucky planet. Yeah, thank you very much for the super chat. Yeah, how can they actually provide us evidence of this 2.4 million years that they claim? And these scientists, I want to know what science they did to claim this. Yeah, gas is not going down. Gas is a unbonded substance that moves in all directions constantly. It has what we call elastic collisions. That means it can only change direction once it has a collision. So it doesn't go down, it goes in all directions. So if it hits something and goes up, it can only come back once it hits something to come back. Gas doesn't fall. If gravity...
Be careful what you send media done with upwards and downwards, because you know what you claim on a bell, man.
That's what I was just about to say. If they don't have an up and a down, how can they claim gas go down, go boom boom? Because there's no such thing as down.
Exactly.
Very sad.
They can store carbon at much higher rates than many land-based ecosystems. Steen Hopfensperger is a north. The animal tides one now Nino event affecting weather push the jet force according to the temperatures. Waves may either
Read Dusty's comment.
But then gas would fill the available space, but it doesn't. Dynamic system. You know what a cycle means. Hey Watt, good to see you, thanks for coming. Hey Plain True, thank you for coming, good to see you.
But it's just admitted that gas would fill available space, so containment.
Plain True says, yeah, the funniest thing I have seen on this channel is debate with Craig Ethery claiming that when you feel your fingers, it's actually you not feeling your fingers, you're feeling electrons pulsating.
Yeah, and when you cut yourself, the knife isn't cutting you, it's the electrons separating the electrons in your fingers. So the knife's not actually... Oh my goodness, come on, Craig.
But you know why I asked him about that? Because I learned that exact theory in school. And that's why I remember I was like, oh, it's such bullshit. I actually told the teacher that's rubbish.
Yeah, of course. That's pure fantasy.
I actually asked my science teacher then. I said, can you please provide for me where the evidence is for it? He told me to sit down. Yeah, that was the answer. Tell me to sit down when asking, please provide me evidence for you claiming that the electrons are doing that. It's just saying the scientists know what's happening, so you just have to take what the scientist says. So sit down. Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, I don't want to be funny, but my headache is getting worse.
Maybe just call it a night then.
I mean, this guy's not giving any new information. He's just literally saying floods because moon. That was about it. Is there anything else you guys want to go through before I do close off?
I'm good.
Sorry, guys.
I got one.
Yeah.
There you go. Lucian's always got one.
So, I'm in my car, obviously, but I was reading somewhere, and I know somebody can do this lookup, but there's a group of people going down to Antarctica, and they're saying that if they can go between like 15,000 and 21,000 feet above Antarctica, then they can see the North Star. Now, explain to me how that would be possible on a ball. Because if you're on Antarctica and you go up, that's technically still the ball would be in your fucking way.
Yeah, it would be on the bottom, total bottom of the ball. So it doesn't matter how high you go. It actually gets worse for you the higher you go.
Exactly.
So there's a group of people that are currently doing this and saying that if they go between 15 and 24,000 feet, they will be able to see the North Star.
Then it's a flat Earth.
then it's flat. Yeah, exactly.
Would you have a link for this?
I'm literally in my car.
Okay, but no, but next time.
Yes, I will. I will do as much due diligence as I can to get that out, because when I start reading, I'm like, all right, either these guys are a part of the system just to make us feel better, or they're really doing it and they're about to have a lot of people wig out.
Yeah, I'm gonna draw it on paint quickly for the people to see. That should be funny. Okay, this is on a flat Earth, guys. Let's say the North Star is here, whatever, and these people are standing here. Now, obviously, they can't see the star because it's past their angle of limits. So, I mean, there's the equator there, so that's where they would see it. So, you know, every time you go up, you're just pushing your field of view out further as you change in elevation. So as it's going up, they're pushing the field of view out farther and farther, and then whoop, they can see Polaris, the North Star. Now let's try to do that same thing on a globe. Okay, let's put Polaris. And we're going to put the person here. Let's try and move that guy. Okay, he's going up higher. What's happening? His distance is getting further away from Solaris, and the Earth is still in the way. Doesn't matter how far away you're going, the Earth is going to be in the way. You can't see. It's going to be blocking it all the time. See, you're pushing out your field of view further, but you're still blocked by the Earth, no matter how high you go. Whoopsie.
I think the YouTube's froze.
Oh.
And there was a group that did it in like southern Brazil and Argentina, I guess, and they said they got to a certain point and they could see it as well, but theirs kind of coincides with the ball because you'd technically be going at a certain angle up the other way, but they'd still be able to see it. But then as farther you go, it's naturally said that, oh, well, it's just going to disappear. But, yeah.
Yeah, Polaris is millions of miles away on the globe Earth. It doesn't change the fact that the Earth would still be blocking you. You don't magically see around the Earth just because you've moved away. Do these guys understand how things work? You don't. The globe's not going to automatically become invisible just because you are going away in distance, especially 24,000 miles. I know, 24,000 feet. You said.
Yeah, anywhere from I guess 15 to 24,000 feet.
So lower than what a commercial aircraft flies.
Over the highest peaks in that area.
Yeah, that totally goes against the globe, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going 90 degrees up from your position at the bottom of the Earth, then yeah, you've always got that obstruction of the globe in your way.
Mm-hmm.
If you went at a different angle, yeah, maybe, but nah, not at that 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Shit, if I had the money, I'd do it myself. But there's a reason why we're not allowed there, right?
Andrew says, redroid with Polaris trillions of kilometers away and observer not exactly at the South Pole. 24,000 feet, you're not supposed to see anything on your globe, mate. Try again. Okay, so yeah, guys, I think I'm going to end it here.
You could go 500,000 feet up and you still wouldn't see it because it'd still be in your way.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how far they go. If the globe is in the way, it's in the way. And this is why they come up with a number and penumbra nonsense for the eclipses. It wraps itself around, which is nonsense. Yeah, so thanks guys all for coming. Thank you PJ and Michael for being in Element. And
no problem.
Was good to see you. Sorry I'm ending it so early tonight. It's just I really got a huge headache coming along now. And
you're still going in and a half.
Yeah, and I mean
feel better, man.
Yeah, I think it was a botched collagen spate, maybe. I don't know.
That's what Biggie said.
So yeah, My transformation into the Simpsons is almost complete. I just gotta paint myself yellow and shave my head totally bald, and I'll be fine.
Shit, he's becoming one of them.
I'm becoming a Simpson.
Well, they predict the future, right?
Yeah, all the time.
Right.
So yeah, thanks guys for coming. Really appreciate. I think it was a nice little quick show. Tomorrow night's going to be a rest, so it's Tuesday nights. Taking a chill. So tomorrow night you can go watch Glowbusters. Ballbusters.
Yeah.
I mean, please don't go watch Glowbusters. That nonsense. Please go watch Ballbusters, and then I'll see you guys again on Wednesday.
Cool.
So it was nice having you guys all here. Really appreciate all the support. Thank you for all the super chats, all the likes and shares. You guys rock. Till Wednesday evening, many blessings, and may the pressure be with you.